Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants and immigration and everything in between. Thank you for listening and downloading the show, and thank you for supporting my dad.
Welcome back, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another new episode. Can you believe it? In a month, we are celebrating the 3rd year anniversary of An Immigrant's Life. This has been the longest creative endeavor I have ever created, and I am grateful for it every day. Speaking of being grateful, of course, what I'm truly grateful for is you, my listeners, new ones or the old ones. I appreciate your support for being here with me. Thank you, and thank you. If you haven't officially joined the Immigrant Nation yet, I invite you to click the subscribe button wherever you're tuning in to this podcast. Another way to become part of this vibrant community is by following us on social media. You can find us at An Immigrant's Life. It's the best way to reach out if you or someone you know is interested in being a guest on the show. And alternatively, you can also shoot an email to animmigrantslife@yahoo.com. Let's connect and share your beautiful story. With the reminders out of the way, let's dive into this week's episode. In today's episode, we have a remarkable guest, a visionary in the real estate industry, who shares his journey of self-discovery, mentorship, and building a successful career. We'll explore the secrets to personal success, the vital role of a real estate agent, managing busy business days, and bouncing back from setbacks. Our guest also provides valuable insights into real estate investments and offers strategies to enhance your real estate endeavors. Champs, this episode is a treasure trove of knowledge, so grab your notepads and get ready to elevate your real estate game. And with that, without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is a real estate agent and investor. Not only he can help you buy a house, he will also teach you how to have a cash flow. Everyone, please welcome Mohit Kanyan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you for making time. I know you're a busy dude, collecting cash and securing the bag.
Well, we are all trying. So
That's all we can do,
yeah.
right? Before we move on, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. I look forward to it.
For sure. Why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you, or if you not promote anything?
So I think the easiest way to reach out to me is on my Instagram, which is Kanyan Real Estate. If you just type Mohit Kanyan, I'm sure it'll pop up there. And then the other way is I'm active on LinkedIn and in terms of social media, Instagram and LinkedIn, or you can just Google me. I'm sure something will pop up and you can be able to message me.
Beautiful. Do you have TikTok?
I do have TikTok, but I don't use it very often. I think that's like TikTok, like because I think I'm having good run with Instagram. But I think TikTok gets pretty, like I don't like kind of response you get. I think it's a little bit more genuine. I found it to be on Instagram compared to TikTok.
How do you find that?
I think from my understanding, what I have seen so far, I think it's just TikTok algorithms works very aggressively. I think in a way where like things can blow up quickly, but at the same time, you just do not get a lot of genuine responses or engagement from that platform, as far as in my experience. But I think Instagram is much more genuine that way. So that's why I kind of stick to that, and it's just wherever I get the leads, that's where I get it from.
Do you think it's because people perceive TikTok as more of like a childish thing rather than Instagram being a professional page?
I think there is that element, but I see a lot of people does pretty good content on. But I think TikTok, mostly people treat it just as a video and just for a fun platform. You just keep scrolling. And Instagram, people do go out for like real information as well. I think that it's just more, maybe it's just a perception thing, but that's in my personal experience so far. I had a more genuine inquiries and more genuine results from Instagram so far.
Mm, beautiful. Before we get to other things, I want to
Mhm.
give some background. Originally from Delhi, India.
No, I studied in there. I'm from a nearby small town, which is I think 3 hours from Delhi. There is a like a province or state called Haryana. That's where I'm originally from. I grew up there. I did my high school there as well. Then after that, I moved to Delhi and then did my undergrad studies before moving to Canada for my masters.
Mm.
But I did spend like good 4 or 5 years of my time in Delhi.
Mm. Before you moved to Canada, how old were you?
I moved here. I think I was how old I was. I was 22 or something,
And
22.
you
Yeah.
were a man.
Nah, I did. I had a pretty good run. Like, when I came here, I probably knew everything what I wanted to do. I
Mm.
had things sorted out, like what direction I want to take my life in. And then once I came in, I didn't waste any time.
Mm. Were you planning to move to anywhere before that, or were you just
Nah,
wasn't
it was
even
just
thinking about it?
US. It was just US or Canada.
Hmm.
Then I found Canadian immigration to be much more sorted out compared to US. So that was the only direction point.
Hmm.
Where it's just like US immigration system is very hard, very difficult to navigate. It's not like not as planned as the Canadian one is, like where you do ABC, then you can get your, like, you have a chance to stay in the country, and the work permit situation is pretty sorted out here. If you want to stay for a while, you can go for work permit and whatnot. In US, I think it's just a little bit more complicated that way. Otherwise, first preference was obviously US, but then like I just found my second choice.
Hmm. I understand you were international student. Which province did you go to?
I studied in Ontario itself, and that's where I live right now. So I studied in University of Windsor.
Hmm. Why did you choose that university?
Oh, it was also that was also my second choice. My initial choice was there was a university in Halifax. That was where I was supposed to go, and there was an entrepreneurship course I was supposed to enrolled into. But then, as luck would have it, there was the University of Windsor was my secondary option in that way. But I think there was last minute there were some changes in the program requirements, which led me to make a decision for University of Windsor instead of that program, because I already got accepted in both of them, but I was really leaning towards it because that program is much more what I wanted to do it. But there were some long-term issues with the program. Like, it was a small program. They said they can extend it, but then university didn't give me any guarantees that they can be able to extend my study permit and whatnot. So I just didn't want to take any chances. So I just stick to the University of Windsor option.
Hmm. Did you know anyone in Canada or at least in Ontario when you moved?
I not necessarily. I didn't have any friends as such in there. Obviously, I knew few people, but I did a good amount of research before coming to the university. Or I reached out to at least 10, like, 50 people or people on Facebook and different platforms, and then few of them gotten back to me, and that's how I, before even landing here, I had. Already started applying for part-time work, and then had my room situation sorted out. So I landed in Windsor Airport. There was a lady I was sitting in the plane with. She gave me ride to my room, which I have booked before coming to Canada. So went in
Wait,
there. Then
sorry. Do you know this lady or you just
no, we just started talking. I think this is 2016. So there was some. I think we started talking about some different elections, and like I'm a big political junkie as well. So I do, as because on ranked, and she was as well. So we just kind of talking about different political topics and whatnot. She kind of hit very well. So we were traveling from Toronto to Windsor, so it's like a half an hour flight or so, 45 minutes. So then we just started talking, and we did end up having some good conversation. Then she said like, "Hey, I'll drop you. Since you are new to the city, you don't know what to do and whatnot." I was gonna
wow.
do Uber otherwise. I had that planned out, but she said I'll drop you. Then she did drop me there.
What a charming guy.
Yeah.
That's I mean for her to trust you?
I know. But you gotta look at the other way around. I also trusted her with my safety.
Yeah, I guess so. You could have been like the movie Taken, you
I
know.
know. Yeah. But yeah, no, she was a genuine person. She said I had my car parked at the Windsor Airport. I'm gonna go home anyway, so why don't I'll just drop you in. I'm like, okay, that's good.
And then there's a guy behind you who's gonna whack you in the head.
No, I did check her backseat before entering, so it's clean.
So that's a great Canada opening for you, right? But before you moved to Canada, what was your perception about Canada?
I think I didn't. I just knew like because I think one thing in India, India is like because of the population size and the amount of opportunities. Obviously, it's very like you really have to be like the top 0.1% in India in order to be successful. But I knew in Canada, like if I had the work ethic already, I'm like I would be able to take more opportunities, take advantage of more opportunities in Canada compared to what I was able to do in India. So that was my only goal. I knew some people here, like, wherever I knew, I always look up ostensibly, like, online, like people who have made it here, how they did it and whatnot. So I already had some ideas about, like, it was very clear in my head that I'm going to pursue a business. I just did not know at that time what business would work. And then once I landed here, I started working on it right away. Like, hey, what sort of business line should I go into it? What skills do I need in order to be successful at it? I just knew if I give it my good attempt, I will be able to like make an impact in Canada pretty quickly. And that's how things panned out as well. As soon as I in there, I'm like, I just don't want to limit myself to one thing or the other. I did like, for example, I came into a master's program for engineering, but then while I was doing engineering, I was super clear about the fact that I don't want to pursue an engineering job as per. I would rather do some sort of business. And then I realized in Canada, like the two really good businesses from my perspective, because I was part of immigrant, community as well. So either, like the one is the real estate, obviously that has a lot of money. I met a bunch of people in Windsor who were making a good amount in while doing real estate. They were flipping houses, they were buying houses which were not in good shape, fixing it. And I understand that process very well. And that's how I started with my like the student business journey as well. So I understood and see how much they were making and how many houses you can do it in a year. And I'm like, yeah, that seems pretty, like something that I can do easily. Not easily, but it's really doable. And that's how I kind of get started from that. I'm like, okay, real estate, like that's like I know that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start investing in real estate and then go from there, see how things pan out, and that's what ended up happening.
There's one thing that I love about your stories. While you were studying, you were a franchise manager for a painting company.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah, no, it was good, and that's why because no, my study that's a big misconception about master's studies in Canada. It's super easy to do it, especially if, coming from Indian education system, which is very difficult to crack. The Canadian system was like a cakewalk, man. Like I wouldn't go most of my classes. Like I wouldn't go most of my classes. I think there's only the mandatory classes I would attend, and that too my classes length was like 3 hours, and we would get a break after 1.5 hours. So I'll just take my break after one and like during the break I'll just leave the class. If attendance has already happened, I would leave it. Like that was my only goal, just to be present, get the attendance mark and everything. And then if it's not a mandatory attendance, I wouldn't go to the class. I will just study before the exam and would be able to. We only had to score minimum 70 percentile to pass the masters, and that's what I kind of focus. I think my percentage was also like 73 or something at the end.
Hey,
Yeah.
they always say a person that graduated to be a doctor, number one, and the person that graduated at the bottom, they're still both doctors.
Yeah, that was why I'm like, I just wanted to pass it. I don't want, because I was very clear I was not gonna go into a technical field. I'm like, I'm gonna do the business, so I just need to make sure I score good enough marks so I don't fail the exam. And that was like that was the clear goal from day one.
Do you think you needed a school to start a business, or you could have just gone straight to business?
I think it did help in terms of, I think everything happened for a reason. You gotta take it as a positive. So if let's say if there wouldn't be a school, would I have learned multitasking in so many different ways? Like, because the school did put me in a position where I had a very specific time to do my assignments. If I don't do it at that time, I'm going to miss the deadline because I was doing so many things about the business. And then I meet so many people during the school, which kind of shaped my thinking and then did push me go ahead with the business. Same thing with College Pro. I found it through one of the I found it online, but then the guy who was already done it, he was also a University of Windsor student. So he really guided me through that process. So I think school did play a good role into it. And then you just gotta, I made the best out of each the world. But yeah, if looking back at it, if I would have done it before, might have gone through a different route, but maybe might have, probably would have ended in the same situation. But I think it was good. Like I met some good friends who eventually became my business partner later on in the time. And then while in school, I lived in student housing, so that kind of taught me a lot about how to run student rentals. So that's how most of my rental properties that we own are all student rentals. So that really taught me a lot about how to manage them, how to manage a student expectation, being a student myself. So I think everything did play a huge role from that perspective.
You
Mm.
mentioned student housing. What do you mean? Like you buy a house and then you rent it to students?
Yeah. So like we run our, like all the rental properties that we have them for we do student rental in them.
Okay. Your painting company, I want to understand this. Like,
Mhm.
how did it work? Do you have to pay for the franchise and then you do it yourself? You do the painting, or how does it work?
So basically, for student rental companies, what we did is we it was a franchise company. So I was a franchise owner, and then so we applied for it. So this was a company. Now they don't no longer, I think they shut down their painting division. They still do other businesses, but no longer the painting business such. So they usually hire a student who's a full-time student, and they'll give him a training to run a business during a summertime, basically. So that was the goal. And then they would do the training throughout the year to get you ready for the summertime, and then you just kind of run the business, and then you pay back them through the franchise fee from the transaction that you would do. So they won't charge any upfront fee. There was only, I think, $200 or something like that. Then and then from that point on, it just kept building from there on, and then you can do it for multiple years as well, as long as you are a full time student. And that's how I kind of do it. Some people pursue it on a full time basis as well, but for I was clear that I would just want to do it in the school because I want to really learning the business in a professional manner, how to do it, how to talk to the clients, how to structure your day, how to plan your meetings, how to plan your calendar and stuff like that. So that's kind of really, there was a launch pad for us with the minimum risk from that point on, and I took advantage of it. I did make good money out of it, pretty much paid all my tuition fee and had my money saved for my first investment property, everything through College Pro. And it was a great experience. I think I get to meet some of the students who did some amazing work, and they're still building up. Some of them are doing now startups in Waterloo itself. They're doing technical, and they were all were my partners in College Pro. We all learned the business together. So it's a good community to be a part of. And then they still do their like, I think annual get together and stuff like that. So you get to go there and meet those people. Some of them has went on to start their own big companies now. I think some of them even went on the Dragon's Den as well.
No way.
Yeah, so it's just like it's just amazing to be part of a culture like this where they teaches you as a student how to manage money, how to spend it, how to calculate, profit losses, how to pay taxes, HST and stuff like that. So, everything I can calculate. I used to calculate all my accounting by myself. They made sure that we could give it to someone else, but they said, like, they literally taught us how to do the HST calculations yourself, how much you owe, and you can calculate all those things. Same thing with profit loss. So like we did pretty much not only the business, sales, customer dealing and everything, but also accounting, payroll, how to hire employee, how to fire if they are not performing, how do you hold them accountable and stuff like that. So it was just a lot of learning through that experience of 2 years that I had with College Pro, and that kind of still serves me very well because I now understand these things when I run bigger businesses which has many employees. But I can easily, it's just the same math we still do. So it's easy for me to now, look back at things and tell, oh, this is how it usually happens, this is how it should happen, and kind of go from there.
Beautiful. You mentioned real estate. What motivated you to enter real estate?
Oh, I think that's the only business that's kind of make money in Canada.
Well, land always makes money.
I know. No. It's so basically it was just because when I started real estate, obviously the biggest hurdle I faced at getting approved for mortgages. So I was working in Amazon. That really helped me. Had a well-paying job right after university, so that really helped me get started with my getting approved for mortgages and buy more and more properties. So that was the starting point. Was just like, I didn't know at that time like what I'm gonna make, but my goal was simple. Like, hey, let's buy at least one property every year. If we can buy two, that's great. And that was our goal from day one. Let's buy two properties every 6 months. We're gonna buy something. We didn't know how it's gonna turn out, how we gonna whether we don't want to sell it. We just like, okay, we buy it, we buy a property which will be able to sustain itself with the rental income to pay its mortgage, and that's our goal. We don't want to take any money out of the property. Whatever it makes, we put it back into the property. As long as it cash flow, we'll buy it. And
Mm.
that's how we started. And when there was just no big plans that I'll own this much one day, this is just simple. Look, let's just buy more property. Let's just buy it.
When you say property, were you just buying houses?
Houses, yeah. We just bought, yeah. Initially, we started with single family,
Mm.
and then we just kept buying more and more. We bought a bunch of duplexes as well, did some conversions ourselves, but that's how we started.
Hmm. I always wanna
Hmm.
ask, like, why should one hire a realtor? Because now people can really sell the house themselves, right? But why would someone hire a realtor?
No, I think in Canada, like just because I think there's a lot of information which is not available to a day to day, as I didn't have it when I was doing. I always had a realtor helping me out,
Hmm.
but I could do those analysis about properties myself. I don't need, but so there's certain information only a realtor can give me. Now, at that time, now there are apps which tells you recent sales in the area, so you can kind of guess the price. Earlier, that wasn't the option. So now everyone can calculate the value of their house up to a certain accuracy, at least 70-80%, just by going through different online websites and stuff like that. They'll be able to calculate the value of their house. What realtor really helps you is, let's say if you're selling a house, he will be able to get it staged, promote it on different channels, and then negotiate the pricing and all that. So that's really matter. And on the stats on the seller side, and on the buyer side, I think just guiding people, especially who are doing it for the first time or their second time or just starting out, especially in investment or regular as well, it's just like a lot of nuances which are involved in the process of making sure you get the inspection done on the property. And if it's a property which is very competitive market, so you can't put a conditional offer, what are the other things here you due diligence that you can do for your client, that so that they don't end up in a situation where they buy a property and then there are a bunch of issues with the property.
Mm.
So like I can, like, for example, we visited a property yesterday in the morning. I was in London, and then so we were just going through the property, and then I usually, because I look at from the lens of, if let's say if I'm buying it, what are the things I would look at it. So client is new, has never done the property. We saw it, property was pretty good shape, and then I noticed something. And there were some issues with the, like, once we went in the basement, I saw there was some leakage issues in there. I could see it because I've seen it so many times. It wasn't very visible, but I can see it. Okay, there was some sort of leakage issue in there. And then I called the agent. I asked him about, hey, was there a leakage problem? He said, yeah, there was a leakage problem, but we have fixed it. And then I asked him to give us the proof that they have fixed it and whatnot. So just like those things that really helps you in terms of finding the house. And then same thing, I think buyer part, a lot of people, I always tell my clients as well, I have them, I really teach them in our first meeting, like how to find the property for them. Once we figure out which market they want to invest in, then I'm like, hey, go on these websites and try to find the property yourself as well. Like, I'll book it for you, I'll find the properties, but I think you should do it as well, because now you get a really good idea. Like, if you are involved in that process as well, buyer becomes a lot more knowledgeable, and then it becomes a transaction. The entire process becomes a lot more easier for you as a agent as well. And then helping them out with the, like, the all the renos that we do, what sort of renos they should go for, because there are a lot of renos you can do in a house, but do they really increase the rent value for you? So,
Mm.
helping them with that part. Hey, should we where can we add value to this property at a minimum cost, which doesn't really burn their pocket, but at the same time get them returns on it as well. And then
Mm.
what is the right time to do the duplex conversion on the house. So, like, these are just, I'm like, it's not everyday realtor part of realtor's job, but at the same time, because I've done these processes and most of my clients are investor as well. So it's just like, you attract the your own tribe. Like, I kind of attract client who are like me, or wants to invest and whatnot. So just, giving them just sharing my experience with them, I think kind of does my job. I don't really put like, I don't have to go out of my way to really do something. I just tell them what I have done, and that, like, kind of makes the things easier for them as well.
Let them decide. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Is it true that when you're trying to sell your house, you should renovate your kitchen?
Yeah, I think you should renovate it, and then have renovate, and it should be in white in color. So there's just bunch of thing, and house should be painted in a light color. You should have it staged. It looks a lot bigger if you have it staged. And obviously the white, even when you do a valuation from the bank, if you do refinancing of your house, having a white kitchen does add extra value to it. Having port lights add extra value to it. So just those small things, you just learn it like once you go through the banking process and refinance and all that. So
Balancing a real estate business can be demanding. How do you
yeah.
manage your time effectively?
It goes like, I think college pro really taught me really good about, like, I put everything that I want to do during the day in my reminders. If it's not in my reminder, I probably not even remember to do it, won't even do it. But everything from the to the T is in my calendars. If I have to call someone, if I have to follow up, everything is in the reminders. Just keeps it goes every hour, few times in a hour. Like everything has been planned that way, and then a lot of reminders are repeated as well because the tasks are repetitive in that sense. So it's just like I rely on my reminders and calendars every day. That's how I do it. But yeah, it's demanding. It's just 24/7. If you don't really enjoy it, you won't be able to make it big in real estate industry. Like, you really need to enjoy it, because that's all you can do. That's all you're going to talk about. That's all you're going to do. There's going to be people calling you in the middle of the night, be it your tenants or your clients, and those things just happen. Right now we have three clients who are doing the renovation of their property. So they'll call me, they'll send me pictures. Hey, what do you think about this and that? And then I try to visit their property every few times because they are nearby, so I can visit them. And then we have another one starting renovations next week in London. I think there's a closing happening to yeah, closing is tomorrow. So we gotta get that started as well. So finding the right renovation people from them. And right now a lot of people are busy. So just trying to figure out their schedule, see if anything can be matched out, and then we can get everything done before the tenant moves in. Finding tenants, help them screening the tenants and whatnot. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, if you're not on planet, your business will you'll get behind in business. So it's super important. For me, it's just simple. Like, I keep everything on my calendar, and that's how I go about it.
Do you write it down or you put it on your phone?
No, phone. I never write down anything. Never. I never take any notes. No, no. I didn't take notes in class either. So everything is in phone. Everything is phone. Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you do it the night before or do you do it in the morning?
Throughout the day, like, usually, like, the big stuff I would check it in the morning. The first thing I do is just check my calendar, like if there is any big event I need to go for, because day to day things I keep track of. Like, let's say if I'm driving, my notification will pop up, hey, call this person for this thing. I'll just call that person right away. There's certain things where you do need some time, like, let's say on Tuesdays and Mondays and Tuesdays, we put a lot of offers for all the showings that we did on the weekend and whatnot. So I would have times, I would just make sure what time we need to put our offer. So I'll make sure, like, I'll stop during that time and be sitting there while sending the offers and whatnot. So for that, but rest of the time, as I'm going by, a reminder will pop up. I'll do the task right away. And if it's related to gas station or something, I try to give that work to my manager, or my wife takes care of that part. So I just let her know, hey, this needs to be done. Can you make sure we get this done?
Can you highlight a successful project or deal that you're particularly proud of?
Oh, I think there is just one we did right now. I had my yesterday's event in that property as well. This is for my a client of mine. We got a property in Kitchener for 830. It's a big house, 3 bedroom upstairs with a big basement in there. Even basement is above grade as well. So we converted that house into 4 bedroom upstairs. We added 3 bedrooms in the basement. It was basic renos. We didn't do anything. Everything was already there. We just put the doors there. There's renos of around 10 to 12,000 on that property. And then I think that property, given the high interest rate, that property is going to cash flow $1,600 per month. And that's pretty unique given today's market. Like, it's hard to find cash flowing property, and then we've been able to make this work for 15 to $1,600 per month. I think, yeah, that's something we're very proud, and that's why I did the event in that property last night. And we had a good showing in there, almost 20 20 people. I only had 20 tickets and they were all sold out. There were a bunch of people who just showed up in there. And then, so
Wait,
it
what
was
do you
good.
mean 20 tickets?
So like for the event that we sold, we had yesterday. So I keep my events super small so we can have good genuine conversations. But then a lot of
Hmm.
my friends just walk in these events.
Bastards.
Yeah. Hey,
Hyenas, man.
yeah, yeah. And then so because this was in a house, so we wanted to keep the crowd well maintained,
Hmm.
in there. So just don't wanted to get things out of hand
Of course.
that way. So in there we did a property tour. I showed them what we have done with the property. I think it was a good learning experience for everyone. Then we just chit chatted for a while. So we have a lot of clients who were investing in the similar cities, and they were all present there yesterday. So I connected all of them. Hey, you invest in Kitchener, this guy also invest in Kitchener. You invest in these kind of property, this guy also does this. So it's like they all get together, so they share their ideas, they see the contact numbers, and that's how you kind of make connections and help each other out. We have a good client, at least right now, I think 15 to 16 clients who have all invested in London. So I made a group of all of them, had them meet, all of them met each other yesterday, kind of discuss their challenges and see how they can navigate it.
That's amazing, man. Do you run the day-to-day management of the gas station and the restaurant you own?
No, no, no. My wife does it,
Mm.
and then we have now good employees who manages things most of it themselves. But I try to stay away from it. But I do step in for important stuff. At least I try to dedicate at least 4 or 5 hours in a week there during the day time, so I can just make sure expenses are going in, everything is getting paid on time, and we are everything new stuff which is getting ordered is put in correctly. So right now we have kind of automated most of the processes, but there's still a lot of things that I also wanna intrigued by how the process works there. So just learning that business as well, but I do try to dedicate at least half a day in a week there.
Mm. What kind of employer are you?
But kind of I'm pretty chill. We have certain standards. As long as those are met, I don't mind what people do, as long as they open it on time, close it on time, and then there's no customer complaints. Because nowadays it's very easy to get feedback on your employees through the Google reviews and whatnot. So I take them super seriously as well. So anytime there is a bad review, I make sure like they are aware of it. Anytime there is a good one, I do share that with them as well. So I think that's kind of a pretty good check and balances we have. And plus, when I go there, I have a checklist of things that I want to go over, and then I make sure if anything is missing, then that means someone didn't do their job properly. I would think we can, sometimes we backtrack into it. But yeah, so far we haven't had any issues. But I'm not super, since I don't go there every day. I don't get to see a lot of things either. I just rely on what other people are telling me, and then I can see the numbers results that way. So if the numbers are going good, then when someone is doing something right. If those things doesn't go away, then we kind of deep dive and see what's going on. So we have a weekly meeting. We get everyone together, get their thoughts in there, because they are there. They get to get good review of them. They like what are the new things we can do, what marketing maybe we can use. Probably we do should we do more social media, or we rely on other things. So they give their feedback as well, and I take it seriously. I think they are there all the time, so they know that market better than I do. So yeah, it was just a good give or take relation we have with them. And I think most of our employees, none of our employees have ever have to. I think one guy we had to ever fire. Never anyone else has stayed with us until they reached a point where they want to move on to something else in their life. And then I think one of our employees is with us from last. She's been working in the same gas station for 5 years, and then we continued her as well. We actually took over all the employees from when we both buy the business. We kept all the employees as well. Most of them are still here with us, and then we got our onboarded some new people. So yeah, it was a good balance of experience and some newcomers in the business. And then things keep moving. Every 6 months, we would have one person leave. Either their school is over now, so they have to go find something else for other works. Most of our employees were student at some point. I got some of my people who lives, some of the students who live in my property. If I see a good potential, I do offer them job as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, because it's good for them. It helps them in their like immigration and all that, along with what we are looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes
so
so much sense. It's easier for you since you know you. you can rely on this person, and you know this person for where they live,
Correct. Yeah.
just in case they steal something.
We didn't have any stealing issues. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, we had our but there are certain, obviously, there's like day-to-day challenges that we get during the business time. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Has been a smooth ride so far.
You mentioned that you own mostly property like houses. This gas station, what made you decide to buy a gas station?
I was just like, we were looking to diversify our portfolio as well, and then with the real estate is just like, you don't get a lot of, because I was leaving my full-time work at that time at Amazon. I wanted to pursue the real estate full time as well. We wanted to make sure we have a steady income, like a full time income that we can rely on. So that was the idea behind buying a business, active business, which can kind of generate that cash flow for us on a daily basis. That way, like, the transition from a full-time work to a business is easy for me. So that's the idea behind it. We wanted something active, which kind of, where I stay involved, and it's just, learning experience from different
course.
businesses.
Makes sense.
At the end of the day, like, the fundamental principles are same across all the businesses. And then how do you implement in each business? That's where the difference is. So it's kind of, and I didn't learned a lot from it already. Like, especially it's a large scale business. There's a lot of moving pieces to it. You have to manage every small detail about it, and that's kind of translate into other businesses as well if it's some good parts of it. So yeah, no, it has its own challenges, but I think it's been a good experience so far.
Beautiful. I have to ask this because my youngest always talks about it. Because
Correct.
every time we pass by a gas station, he always, let's see, you usually see like two gas stations side by side.
Yeah.
And he always say, Dad, why don't you just put the gas lower so people will come to you?
Because so especially the ones who are right in front of each other, they match each other's price. So if one person goes lower, the other will go lower as well, and they can't go below a certain point because they bought it at X number. They can't sell it a minus X. Either they're going to sell it at X plus 1, X plus 2. That's the only difference. And then at the end of the day, you don't want to sell a lot of gas and don't make any money on it either. Because everyone, but usually people, the gas stations which are right in front of each other, they'll always match the price from each other. Because even if they lower it, the next person will lower it as well. So even if they lower it, that's how usually the tracking happens. The moment the next person reduces the price, then they would price match it as well right away.
Who decides the price? Is it the store's owner, or is the company has the map?
So there are two different ways. In one, depending on what contract you have with the company, there's in one where you are buying and selling, where you get to decide your own price. And if you have, like in my case, I have a different deal with the company where my prices stays the lowest in the city, and then company decides the price in my cases. We have a
Okay.
fixed commission structure, whether they sell it at this price or they sell it at a little higher price. We have our fixed number that we go by. But other than in any other case, we usually people get to decide their own, but this still stays within the margin, because the moment you increase it by a lot, there's also a perception issue as well. Like, you don't want to make a perception that you sell gas at a very high price, because that kind of hurts you in the long term.
Yeah. I have like different favorite gas stations because
I
like
know.
this guy always goes slow. This one's always
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, if you see the Pioneer gas stations, they are all corporate-owned stores. So you'll always find them to be the cheapest because corporation can afford to do it compared to, let's say, a Petro Canada or a Esso. Their prices are not going to be the lowest in the area. It's always going to be the Pioneer because they are corporate-owned stores.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
how it kind of works out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. Your entrepreneurial journey likely comes with both highs and lows. How do you handle setbacks and maintain positive mindset?
So I think it's just like, so far, like I've seen a lot, and we overcame through that as well. But for now it's just part of a structure. Like, every day there isn't been a setback that I haven't overcome, but it's just surrounding yourself with people who've been through this journey before. That kind of really helps you out, because sometimes you get those problems that you have never faced before, and then you just reach out to people who have been doing this for a while, so there are good chances they have probably faced this problem, or they will be able to guide you to the people who have faced this problem. I just reach out to people and ask them questions like, hey, like this is what happened to me, what do you think, how can we address it? And they are usually very helpful in that regard, and they if they have faced it, they tell me the response. If they don't know, they usually guide me to someone who knows about it. But I think I have surrounded myself with very good professionals up to this point, be it in any field at this point, that I can reach out to them and rely on their responses.
Makes sense. Your type of business is there's a lot of risk. How do you approach calculated risks?
So, calculate risk is, man, at the end of the day, it's just basic part of the businesses is how much you're putting it in, how much you are getting out of it. And if that math is super simple in terms of that, hey, I'm putting X amount in there and I'm going to get Y amount out. But the only variable is amount of effort that I'm putting myself into the business. For example, gas station, my personal effort is very low on it, but my investment is very high. In business, my investment is super low for the realtor business, but my personal time is very high. So that's how you got to calculate the returns on investment in that way. One gives me return on investment on my time in it. The other one gives me return on investment on my pure investment on it. So that's how you kind of if like returns is based on that part where my personal time is invested, the return on that part is very high. But at the same time, because I'm personally invested in it, there is a lot more investment is way more higher compared to, let's say, money. Because I think I've reached a point in my life where I evaluate my time to be a way higher investment compared to just a monetary investment in a business. If I'm dedicating my time to any business, I think that business will do a lot better compared to where just my money is sitting right now. So that's how I kind of go by. But as long as returns are more than what I put into it, and then that number is kind of what I expected it to be, then it's fine. Obviously, ups and downs are everywhere, especially now in today's market. Like, we don't expect properties to give us the same kind of return as they were giving from last few years. So we had managed our expectation accordingly. That, hey, let's, as long as they are cash flowing, they're not we are not putting any of the money from our pocket, then we are happy about it. We're not gonna do any panic sale. We have never done that. And we never buy a property with the intention to sell it. We buy it, hold it for a long time. If we get a really good offer that we can't refuse, we'll sell it. Otherwise, we just hold on to it.
Speaking of happy, can money buy happiness?
Oh yeah. Not the kind, not the I think it's just a big misconception. Like, I think you get to say these things when you have a lot of money. So
Privilege.
privilege, yeah, it's just a very privileged question. So I think, yeah, if you have, I would rather be sad and rich, not other than, yeah, this is, I would rather be, sad in a nice vacational place.
I want to be sad in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah. I wouldn't be, don't want to be sad sitting in a room. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it does makes things super easy for you. Like, I
Yeah.
won't, like, you get that recognition from the people around you. If you do make money, it does comes with all kinds of perks, and then if it makes your family's life a lot more easier as well. But at the same time, I think it shouldn't drive you to be like, it shouldn't, money doesn't really change a person. I think it just kind of takes out more of who you really are. If you have a good amount of it, eventually after some time you realize, once you start filling up your basic needs, everything else is expense, and expenses can be as high as you make out to be. My only part is, if I have some extra money, we invest in a property right away, like either in here. Now we have started doing it in US. So now we don't need that big of money to save. Once we have a little bit of money, we just throw it in a property in US. So that's how I kind of go about it. I hardly put anything in my bank account. Every time my bank account goes up, we empty it out right away in a few months.
Where's the yacht? And the sports cars?
Just the property for now. Eventually, we'll get to that point as well. But for now, there is no need for a yacht. once there is a need, we'll figure out how to get it.
What do you think is the most common misconception about money?
I think there are many of them. I think the one thing that I really tell people is, like, if you see someone who is doing really good in their life, figure out why they are doing this good, instead of just being never associate anyone's success with luck. Like, that's just never, like, obviously people do get good breaks in life, but if you work hard, you'll get breaks in life, man. Like, that's just a simple thing. If you work hard, and for 10 things, there's going to be, out of those 10 things, 5 things just going to happen naturally to you, just because you are in a good place with good good people, and someone is going to give you some ideas which kind of works out to be in your favor very well. So those things just happen naturally for people who go out and work. But I think most common is when they see someone who's doing good in there, and then not realizing how they get there. And if we just take that thought, I was very intentional about these things as a kid. If I see someone who's super successful, like, what did this guy did to get here? Like, what is the business that he started? There must be something, there's always a starting point in someone's life. If not him, his dad must have done it. So I get very intrigued by that. So that's why I love reading people autobiographies of people, like, how they started businesses, multi-billion dollar businesses, and just there's no end to the money you can make. But I think it is very unique process. If you start a business, build onto it, and kind of go from there. And it's a process which really excites me, not so much the end. But I think, yeah, that's kind of what biggest conception I have seen people having is when they're seeing the rich people, they're like, oh man, I don't know how they make so much money. But it's just that it's just there's something they have done very unique, which kind of makes them, to that point. And then I think in North America, especially, that which I have found, things are very duplicatable. Like, unless you're trying to develop a AI software, I think that's needs a very unique skill set. Most of the other businesses are pretty basic fundamentals about, you find a client, you sell it to them, and that's how kind of works the transaction value of it. So they are doable by anyone who's willing to learn.
There's a formula.
There's a formula. Yeah, there's formula behind all of them. Yeah, yeah. Except the like, if you're developing some sort of tech products, it's different. But other than that, I think every business has a formula which is very much duplicatable in every category.
In your own personal experience, when immigrants are trying to purchase a property, do you find them to be knowledgeable most of the time?
I think nowadays there's a lot more knowledge out in on social media, where people do get a lot of knowledge. But I think nobody gets any knowledge unless they do it, dude. Like, there's just no such knowledge you can learn from by talking to someone who has already done it. You only get the knowledge by doing it. There's just there's no such school out there, university or course out there which teaches you everything. You learn it on the job. That's the only way to learn it. There's no other way.
You mentioned it earlier, flipping houses. Is it illegal now? Because I saw something about it.
It's not illegal. It's just you have to pay taxes on it.
Oh, okay.
The taxes are a lot higher now. It's just and then you have to you have to pay higher taxes if you sell it within a year. And even before, people want selling things for like, usually if you do a proper flip, by the time you renovate it and all that, it takes 7-8 months period anyway. Now you just gotta hold it for a few extra months. So it's not like, this is always ways around it. The government does it, these things, but they knew how people are gonna, if they can make a rule, you can always figure out a way to overcome it.
Hell yeah, you can bend it and whatnot.
Just don't break it, but yeah, there are ways to go around it.
Can bend it.
Yeah, bend it, not break it.
So, your personal opinion, do you think the mortgage percentage is going down soon, or?
No, I think it's probably something is gonna happen closer to the election time. It's just sooner we have election, it'll happen sooner. If we don't have election sooner, it's gonna happen in the same time, which is early 2025, I think.
25, yeah.
Yeah. So probably by end of next year, we'll probably get an idea. They'll start going down by a little bit, and then eventually in 2025, and so it'll probably get back to that 3%, 3.5% normal number.
Do you think the government's gonna use it for as hey, look at us, we put down the mortgage percentage, you should vote for us?
No, I think it does help with the perception, obviously. And then any government, like, if I would be government, why wouldn't I do it? But like, even though government doesn't directly control these things, but they can obviously nudge the central bank in certain directions. And I think things are getting better overall. The spending habits have been curbed. The prices are stabilized now. So I think they have most of the things that they set out to achieve with interest rate hikes, they have already done it, or it's happening in next 6 months or so. And then that's kind of stable market. If things goes crazy for a few years, you want them to go crazy on the other direction as well. And then I think that period is now hopefully by end of this year will come to an end, and then we see just a stable market. Like things will go back to pretty quickly as long as they stop increasing these hikes. Yeah, even if they don't get it down. But I think by end of next year we'll start seeing that cycle getting reversed. It's not going to go, it's going to be super slow reverse, like 25, and then they'll reverse it probably over a year. But I think we've set at the point that somewhere between 3 to 4%.
Millennials not being able to buy a house, how can you convince this generation to purchase a house?
If you think you can buy a house, then you probably won't be able to buy a house. I'm not gonna waste my time convincing someone who thinks they can buy a house. Like it's just like I never had this thought occur to me that I can't buy a house, even though when I didn't have the money as well, I was like, okay, how can I buy a house? If you're asking the wrong question, you're just not gonna do it. Like there's no point, just keep complaining. There's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, if it's about really like there's just no straight up formula. Just know how much you need to save, and if you can't save that much amount, then go to other market. Go to Calgary, buy there. If you don't go Calgary, go to freaking Edmonton, buy there. If you can't do that either, then you just probably. And then it's not like not everyone like housing is not a need. A lot of people just completely happy with renting it out, but now the renting is becoming difficult as well. So now it's just really making people question, can I rent like this for a long time? That's why this question came in. Earlier renting prices, when rents weren't that high, a lot of people are very comfortable with just living on rent.
Yeah.
I think now because of if houses prices goes up, there's a pressure on rents as well. That's where people really start asking those questions. So I think it's just a wrong question. You shouldn't be asking whether I can buy. Is like, hey, figure out how much down payment you need, save that down payment, and then just go ahead buy it. If you can buy this, buy something else.
Real estate can also involve negotiation skill. Could you share some insight into your negotiation approach?
I think my approach is simple. It's just like I know what my client's budget is, and then and it's very specific certain to house. So if we are doing, because negotiation only happens unfortunately when there is no competition on a house. If there is a small like one or two people, then you can figure out, hey, if we can't, let's say that your client has a certain restrictions on amount of budget they have, then in order to make our offer more attractive, let's say if we can't increase the price, can we improve something on the conditions that we are putting on the house? Because sellers nowadays doesn't really go for the highest price. They go for the offer which has the maximum things that they're looking into. Like let's say they have a certain preference for closing date, they have a certain preference for conditions in the house, and then there's certain preference for let's say some sellers would really prefer to have a higher deposit because that gives them a security, because nowadays it's very common that deals fell through. So we like, hey, if we can't be the best offer, can our deposit be the highest? That's something we can achieve. So that's how I think I prefer that. Like, hey, if we can beat them in price, obviously that's the best case scenario. But if you can do that, then do other things to make your offer attractive as it is. It doesn't work all the time, but more often than not, it will work if we are only competing with one or two offers. If there is 10, 15 offers, then obviously it's just you just have to outprice them. There's nothing you can do about it.
Have you had an experience that the client wanted to purchase the property and you personally think it wasn't a good buy? And have you ever like approached them, hey, don't do
Yeah,
this?
all the time. This happens all the time. I remember there was a specific example. I think there was last month, there was a deal that my client was really into that deal, and I just didn't understand why. I understand his reasoning for it, but I told him like it's just the house is not what you are looking for. It's gonna cost us way too much money in order to put it to a point where you want it to go. And then there was another competing offer on the house, and then the seller kept making these his demands. Like it was a divorce situation, so husband and wife, like wife agreed to our offer, then husband wouldn't do it, and then he had came like, okay, I'm on this closing date, and it was just getting to a point where I'm like, it's just not worth it. Plus there are better opportunities out there in the market. My client was in a hurry, he wanted to finalize something by a date. I told him, we can never make a good deal when you set a limit in your head that I have to finalize something by Sunday. I'm like, this is just a recipe for disaster. And then eventually we did put our offer And then I had him like, and when things didn't just work out, I told him like, just back out. I'm telling you, you hired me for a purpose. I'm telling you, this is not worth pursuing. Just let it go. And then he agreed to it at the end, but he did. He pushed me to do it, but then eventually we backed off that deal. And then we find even a better deal, like in way better location. Now things have worked out very well. And then you see the point. I'm like, you cannot put a limit or a number on yourself in order to find the right deal. Right deal doesn't work on your timeline. I'm like, it's just gonna work on if we keep looking for it. Eventually, we'll find something.
That happened to us when we were buying our house.
Mm.
We found a beautiful house and we placed an offer, and the guy was just like, like he was just being a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't work out, thankfully, and we found, like you said, find another one,
Mm-hmm.
something better, and we found one, and thankfully we did.
Correct. Yeah.
Your business succeeds extends beyond real estate with business mindset. How do you identify and seize new business opportunities?
It's just, I think now I have kind of really solidified my way of thinking about certain businesses. Now I only want to invest in certain businesses, which is real estate being one of them, because I think the return on value is very high on it. Plus, I'm already into this line, so I get to meet a lot more people who does real estate on a high level or real estate related stuff, which has a high return on it. So I want to really focus on this line because I'm thinking about it 24/7, so it's easier for me to run that business. Now I wouldn't want to go into a business which is completely different from the real estate, because that takes my attention away from my core business, real estate, which is driven by a high demand. In Canada, there is no shortage of demand either today or in near future as well. So I think we am in the right business from that standpoint, and I just double down on this business because the economically it's favorable. Its favorability is due to the, it's a necessity in a life. Everyone needs it. Like if you are in a business of necessity, what else you need? You're not gonna go out of business no matter how things goes around. And then and then it's just like whatever money we make, we invest it back into real estate, generate enough passive income through it at some point that you can have enough assets then that you don't have to worry about running business full time then.
Do you say you're a frugal person?
Well, yeah, I'm very, very frugal. And now, yeah, now I think I do spend money on like certain things, but it's just that not they are not very like to fit my. They're more so to fit my needs, not so wants. Yeah, but I'm very frugal, like a very low maintenance person.
So, is there something that it's illogical, like investment wise, and you do it anyway because it's for your, I don't know, sanity or whatever else?
I think I do like eating out, and I only have specific places where I do eat out. And then I regret it right away once I eat it. I'm like, I'm freaking not gonna eat it, and then probably after a month or two, I'll go back and eat it. But it's just that I think, but it's not super expensive. It's just like 20-30 bucks or so. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's not good for me, but I would still go ahead and eat it, and then I regret it the moment I finish it. And I'm like, oh man, this is so bad.
Hey, you gotta enjoy life too, man.
Yeah, no, it does, but it's just like life is better with the better choices. But it's fine. Once in a while, I think it's okay. But yeah, and otherwise, I don't buy anything materialistic stuff. I would spend money on shoes once in a while, but I've tempered it down now because I just don't get enough time to wear them. So now I don't really go around. Every time I go to US, I'll grab something like some small shopping here and there, but nah, just not super like, yeah, not very materialistic stuff. I just kind of stay away from it. Just really needs if I really need something, I would get it.
Don't tell me you drive a Toyota Corolla.
I don't drive a Toyota Corolla. we I was we booked a Tesla now, and then it's coming I think next week or so, but I'm really thinking about it because I drove. We rented out a Tesla for a week. We went to US, and I did the calculation based on how much it cost us to charge it in superchargers, not at home, but supercharging. If you just drive your Tesla based on supercharger charging, it costs you more than the gas. So I was like, oh man, it's just not really a cost-effective solution because I drive a lot. So I'm
Just
like,
enjoy your life, man.
and then I'm like, oh, this is not a good option from that point. So should I just really buy it or just buy a really nice like a gas vehicle, which kind of
Hmm.
looks like, looks fancy, looks nice, kind of fits my need. But at the same time, if the cost is similar, then why am I running after an electrical car?
You're so funny. You make me laugh, man. Do you think you're successful?
No, not yet, not yet. I think that there's a long way to go. I think success is just everyone gets this success in the initial years. I think if you can sustain it over, my goal is like to run any business successfully for at least sustainably for 15 years and keep growing it every year. I think that's kind of success for the business. Personal success can be like, it's just very, I don't really measure it. Like, I think I have all the things that I need right now. My family lives a very comfortable life, and then I get to do what I want. I can visit most of the places I really want to visit now. So in that way, I'm comfort. Like we are comfortable with what we have. But yeah, business success wise, I think it's just more of I want to wait at least 15 years to declare that.
Oh man, with your drive layup, it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
However, you can still eat your favorite restaurant and buy your Tesla.
Yeah. I know my wife doesn't really like that eating out part. So no, even if I do it, I'll never admit it.
For sure. I think we're there, but I want to close out with this question if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Many people dream of starting their own business. What
Mm.
advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
I think start early and then but just find someone like I think this your business journey and like in general like entrepreneurship journey becomes a lot more easier if you can find someone who's doing the exact same thing as you want to do at a high level. Like if you have that clarity that hey, this is what I want to do, and then you find someone who's doing it at a very high level, and then if even better if you can get contact with that person. If not, nowadays everything is on social media, so people does usually share their stories and whatnot, so pick up whatever you can from that person. But then that's just your like if you know okay, this is someone where I want to be, get hold of that person. Maybe not one, but if you do try go ask 10 people, one of them will get back to you and will share some of their thoughts, and that's more than enough to get started with. So start early, and then imitate someone who you want to be, and that imitate it to a point where now you can become better than them. And that's I think that's pretty much the simple success formula out there. Read a lot. If like I think there's really good books out there nowadays with like with good substance out there, good strategies. Like you can read about, you can obviously you can't implement those things, but I think does reading does kind of sets your mindset in a right way. Go out to networking events. I used to go there a lot of networking event. Nowadays just my timing doesn't really allow me. I only pick specific events where I really want to go. But yeah, just start early, meet as many people as you can, read up their mind, see how they think and how you can, and then and then you can make up your own mind. Once you have all the information, things becomes a lot easier. But yeah, just network with a lot more people what you want to do who are doing the similar things, and I think you just take it from there.
Well said. Again, Mohit, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Before we go out, do you want to mention your Instagram again or
Yes.
anything?
Yep. My Instagram handle is Kanyan Real Estate. But if you just type Mohit Kanyan anywhere, I'm sure you'll be able to find some contact details. You can just reach out to me if you need any help, or in general if you have any questions regarding any of the businesses that I do, or any advice if you need in there. I usually try to get back to everyone within 24 hours, so I'm pretty good at that. So should be able to get back to everyone in time.
Again, Mohit, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Again, Mohit, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Endel Yosef for an Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.